You're listening to a special conversation with artist and illustrator Loveis Wise, part of their exclusive guest artist capsule with Philadelphia Printworks. In this short Q&A, Loveis shares the inspiration behind the collection, their creative process, and what it means to center softness and joy in their work. We're honored to collaborate with Loveis on this offering, and we're so glad you're here to listen in.
My name is Loveis Wise, and I'm a multidisciplinary artist, illustrator, and I'm based right in LA. I'm also an educator, and much of the work that I like to create just simply channels play, joy, healing, and transformation, and queerness and transness. It's much about like my identity and like my community's identities, and kind of just like a nice just combination of all these things that I just love to just like play around with.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a great segue into the next question, which is what inspired this capsule collection and what themes or feelings were you hoping to evoke?
Mm. This capsule collection was mainly inspired by what is happening right now in the world and what I feel like we need to hold on to. Like so much of my work involves dreaming and alchemy. And it felt like channeling, like when the opportunity to collaborate was presented to me, I was like, feel like I need to channel words as like a grounding force and anchor to kind of keep us and guide us on our path. And so for me, I was like, I know that I'm committed to being like a person in my lineage that is a transcestor, is a trans person who can help and support um generations to come, both like in my own lineage, but in other lineages as well. And I think that, that's something that we can hold on to ground us. Like we will not be erased in so many ways. So it felt like a call to action in that way. Um, and in some of the other works, this is like the question I was like pondering on was what is it that I need to be and do right now? What can best serve the collective at this moment? Um, and yeah, it's just like a call of remembering and what we can hold on to and like how that can guide us.
I think that's so beautiful, and I love the way that you grounded in the past while remembering your place in the present and how it will affect the future. And I think we try to do that a lot with Philadelphia Printworks. And I think that in this moment that we're having right now, that's so important and so grounding, is that we're looking to the past to see how people and our ancestors have worked through and made it through those tough times. So that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Um, and what role does softness, rest, or joy play in your life right now?
I feel like it's an embodiment of my living practice and the work that I make. Um, so many of those elements are a part of my support systems. And I think that when I am not in my softness or my rest or my care practices, I don't feel like I can show up in my humanity and my like my selfness in so many different ways. Um, so I'm always like remembering different ways that I can return back to that to be able to show up in my fullness and to be able to show up as a support for community.
Yeah. And why do you think this collaboration was a good fit for Philadelphia Printers?
It was a no-brainer to me. I feel like the folks that love Philadelphia Printworks, this is like so much about like it speaks to their ethos and it's like rootedness and community and how we liberate each other, how we show up for each other and how we pour into each other. So it just felt very on time to be able to create something like this to just add to this already great collection of like brilliance and care work and care workers.
Is there one piece in the collection that feels especially personal to you or that you're most excited for folks to wear?
I love so much all these pieces, but I really love this the future transistor bag as a wearable piece. because it just feels so grounding, and that spiral just feels like the graphic that of that spiral just feels just so, like, special to me. And I feel like a really good way to just be able to, like, flag and, like, support other folks that we see in the world. Um, like, I would feel, like, extremely proud wearing that bag. And
Mm,
so I really enjoy the spells of our prints that we have together, and just
yeah.
having that above the altar, having that in your home space or in any space, it just feels like such a visual spell in so many different ways for our community, for our abundance, in so many different ways. Abundance in the sense of just like our friendships, our love, the ways we get to expand. Abundance in the sense of like financial prosperity, but also um, just aliveness. So those spells mean so much to me.
Can you talk a little bit more about what the spiral means and a little bit more, expand maybe a little bit more about, leaning into text and the power of word?
Yes. So I'm glad you named that too, because I felt compelled to lean more into word as and like spell work to me is like grounding word, writing word, the written word. Not to
Got it.
get cliche, but or just, I know it's
Yeah,
very
no.
obvious, but um
No.
it felt important to me to kind of write out some of the things that I've been sitting with over the last few years. And some of my own practices, writing is very important to me. And I'm not known so much for writing as much, but I wanted to be able to lean into that and to share more of my voice in a way that I might not be able to speak to all the time visually, in drawing and illustration. And so I wanted to speak it out so clear so it's just so deeply understood when you see it, and
Right.
you cannot mistake it for anything else but what it is. But the spiral to me was just a reflection of just like I think over the last few years my life has changed so much. I've gone through so many different transformations, both physically and spiritually, emotionally, all the things. But the spiral speaks to all the spiral of life and how
Mm,
meeting new versions of ourselves on each end of the spiral through every curve. It's a reflection. So it's like I feel like I'm noticing through seasons myself just just shifting and just moving with
mhm.
different and growing. And some parts of the spiral, I might be like, "Damn, didn't I learn this already?" And then sometimes you forget, and then sometimes you remember again. So
Mhm.
and I feel like, yeah, so much of this collection speaks to that, remembering that, forgetting that, meeting yourself at each end of the spiral, and knowing that, like, that's just simply what life is.
Ooh, that's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thing.
And that kind of makes me want to hear you talk a little bit more about the evolution of your practice, and your aesthetic, and maybe like pushing yourself to follow your desire to grow as an artist rather than maybe staying, in some of the things that you've done before because that's what the people were looking for and what the people wanted. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah. I think so much about that. I feel like right now I'm in this point of my life where like my work is constantly taking different shapes, from collaging to working in the ways that I've been known figuratively, just like exploring figure and portraiture, but and now I'm just like writing, but I feel like I'm just exploring and letting myself understand what I need, and understanding more about like what's sitting in my subconscious, rather than just like creating things because other people are expecting it. And I think that like when we kind of move out of that space as artists and let ourselves just grow, maybe that is the medicine that people need, is to be able to witness all these different shifts and how we get to like play and transform without just being one solitary thing. That's just human is to be many things.
No, you were also exploring like film for a while, and also like you have an agriculture practice, I would almost call it. Are you finding like this mixed medium? It just sounds like you're doing a lot of exploration that's very nurturing to yourself. But what are you excited to explore next?
Yeah, right now I'm really exploring so many things in my practice. Like I just started this really cool candle home scent alchemy business with my partner.
Oh,
We're
congrats.
aromatherapy and scent as like remembering and connection and like pouring candles is like such a like alchemist esque like art form in so many different ways. And additionally, like music, I'm in this really sweet experimental folk band with my creative collaborator. And we're secretly making music.
I
And
love it.
that feels really cool. Yeah, it's like and these all of these things feel so they're so separate mediums, but they feel so connected to me. Just the ways in which we like creating shape with sound, creating shape with scent, creating different layers, like it feels like collage in so many different ways. And I feel like one of these days, all of these will kind of merge in such a beautiful ways. But like through all of these different practices, I'm learning about myself and what it is I like to make um
Hmm.
for the and like how I can
Yeah.
contribute for the world. I feel like I would not have been able to create this piece without exploring um all of my other loves.
Mm. Do you think we're ever going to get to hear any of the music?
Yeah, I definitely think you will. I mean, we're
Okay.
definitely trying to share stuff in the like fall, this fall and like next year for sure.
That's exciting. Okay. Well, I could talk forever and maybe we'll continue to talk, after this, but we should probably wrap this up. So, what are some of the places where people can find you?
Yeah, folks can find me on Instagram at Loveis Wise and on Threads, same name. I'm pretty consistent in both. And you can also find me on my website, loveiswise.com, if you want to stay in touch.
And is there anything else that you want people to know, just in general about this collection, about yourself, about anything you have coming up? I mean, you already mentioned the canvas. It was really amazing.
Yeah. Support trans and Black queer artists and makers, creatives. Um, please, we need y'all more than ever. Not to be that person, but we do really need y'all more than ever. Please support our businesses to keep us surviving and thriving. Um, and yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, thank you so much for your time today. I hope this helps people understand some of the thought process behind this beautiful, beautiful capsule collection. And thank you so much again for working with Philadelphia Printworks on this.
Thank you for having me.